Like basically, I came to the meeting so that apart from the other species, the common bird species like house sparrows also get a say into the conservation as well as the other issues. Because the common bird species are always the ones which are neglected. Like you always talk about tigers, elephants, but tigers and other things are something like people rarely talk about.
It seems like there is a direct connection between your efforts and biodiversity conservation. Tell us more about your the kind of specific work you do.
Like we have been working for past 8 years basically for the conservation of house sparrows in across the Indian landscapes. And sparrow is one species. Like if you need to save them, you need to involve the citizens of the country into that, because it's a species which requires human habitats. It will not survive without human habitats. To do that, we have been consistently working with the citizens of India in simplistic way, in which they can easily contribute, because they all have a limitation of time frame and other things. We 8 years back we initiated the adopt nest box and bird feeder scheme, where people could adopt nest boxes and bird feeder, which will give a direct habitat to the sparrows, because nesting sites and feeding sites are something which are declining for house sparrows. Then apart from that, to involve people both at national as well as international level, and to bring the people who are working on house sparrow conservation on a common platform. In 2010, we initiated the World House Sparrow Day. But after initiating it, we got a lot of emails from across the world, like, why have you left our sparrows? Because different countries have sparrows, like Kenya has Kenyan sparrows. Some places you have tree sparrow, Spanish sparrow. So from 2011, we made it World Sparrow Day. And in a small time frame of 3 years, more than 50 countries across the world are celebrating it. Countries like UK, an organization like Royal Society for Protection of Bird, RSPB, BTO, they are all following it. And every year we are seeing more and more organizations and countries getting involved in it.
So why sparrow? In other words, tell us the adversities that the sparrows, the species, had to go through, and what were the things that really made you think that this is very critical.
Like one of the most important thing is, like, sparrows are present in the urban landscapes of the world, and the future of humanity lies in the urban centers, because by 2030 40, more than 60 to 70% of global population are going to live in cities. And if our cities are not healthy, the human race and the general population will not be healthy. In a way, sparrow is what a tiger is to a forest ecosystem. It's like the ambassador or the umbrella species for urban ecosystems. And that is one of the reason we need to save the house sparrows, because when we save the house sparrows, we save a lot of other flora and fauna species which the common man may not know, but they all know the house sparrows. So when you save the house sparrows, you end up saving many other species of flora as well as fauna.
Tell us, as per your understanding, what are the most critical reasons that have led to the loss of sparrows?
See, one of the some of the main reasons for decline of house sparrow are lack of nesting site. Like the modern architecture, the buildings are constructed in such a way that they don't have any natural cavities. So the sparrows don't get place to make their nests. The second is lack of food. Previously, women folk used to sit outside their homes to clean grains. In farms, there was a lot of spillage of grains, but with modern technology coming, the farm spillage has stopped. Our women no longer clean grains, they buy packed and clean grains from the malls. So lack of food is one reason. Then lack of insect food for the young ones. Like the young ones of sparrows require an exclusive insect diet which they don't get, because specifically in India, we our urban backyards or our gardens are full of exotic plants which do not belong to India. When they don't belong to India, our insects can't feed on them, and if insects can't feed, the insect population goes down. So the sparrow young ones don't get enough food. So even though the sparrow may lay eggs and the young ones may come out, they might the mortality increases because of lack of food. So in case of sparrow, then all wrong things are happening at one time. There is an increase in the use of pesticide, mobile phone towers. So all wrong things are happening at one point of time, which is leading to the kind of decline we are seeing today in the house sparrow population.
As far as your organization is concerned, tell us about the specific activities that you've taken up and the impact that you've already seen. I mean, you've already mentioned one impact that the world. I mean, almost 50 countries are celebrating World Sparrows Day, which is a great achievement. But tell us more about it.
Like, see, Nature for Our Society was formed not for the sake of having one more NGO, but it was formed because the organizations in India 8 years back were not ready to do any work on the sparrows. Most of the organizations had a mandate that they'll work only on threatened or critically endangered species. So it was the one of the mission of the organization is to for conservation of flora and fauna, and not distinguish between flora and fauna like first class and second class citizens. So everything is important, right from an ant to an elephant, for Nature for Our Society. Another key aspect was we wanted to have an organization whose key work would be on conservation of house sparrows by involving the citizens of our country, and that's what exactly we have been doing for past 8 years. Nature for Our Society comes up with initiatives which are very doable, which do not require any financial strain, because small organizations won't have that much amount of money, nor do citizens. So most of our activities are such that they are very doable, and they require small amount of time, but they have big conservation value, and they are functionally conservation projects. So they are not theoretical projects, but they are doable at the same time. So at the same time, we believe in working with the government agencies, advocacy, and bringing about changes in policy. So on this 15th August, we got house sparrow declared as the state bird of Delhi by the Delhi state government, which has tremendously helped in raising the profile of sparrows both at national and international level. Then apart from that, we have recently launched the Rise for the Sparrow campaign, where we have given choice of numerous choice to the citizen, right from being a sparrow hero to being a voice of sparrow to a sparrow citizen scientist. So these are all the initiatives which we initiate, and most of the things, like one has to participate, they'll not require any money. Like this last World Sparrow Day, we launched India's first common bird monitoring program, which is the first of its kind citizen science program for monitoring the common birds in India. Till now, only countries like UK, US, or the European Union has this program. So for the first time in India, as well as the Indian subcontinental countries like Bhutan, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, they can also contribute in this. And by doing this, we'll be monitoring the 15 most common birds which one sees in and around the country, as well as other birds. And by doing this, we'll be collecting baseline data. So as in case of vultures, when the vultures started declining, we had no baseline data. The common bird monitoring system acts as an early warning system. So this thing would probably help in filling up that gap. But to make this program successful, we require participation from the citizens of our country.